sparking rumors of an affair that eventually led to Brad leaving his then-wife, Jennifer Aniston.
The juiciest celebrity affairs exposed. Find out which Hollywood stars couldn't resist forbidden love and the explosive fallout that followed. Can you guess who tops our list of scandalous love stories? Number 35, Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy has the best seat in the House at the function, and it will be starting just about...
When whispers turn into a storm, you know there's a scandal brewing. Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy's affair is one of Hollywood's most talked-about secrets. The rumors started when JFK, the dashing president, and Monroe, the blonde bombshell, meeting in secret, away from the public eye, and his wife, Jackie Kennedy. The speculation reached fever pitch after Monroe's breathy, seductive performance of Happy Birthday at JFK's birthday gala in 1962. The way she sang, the way he looked at her, it was enough to set tongues wagging worldwide. Their brief encounters were said to be filled with passion and secrecy, a mix of politics and Hollywood glamour that captivated the nation. But the plot thickens. Not only was Marilyn linked with JFK, but rumors also suggested she had an affair with his brother, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy. The love triangle was a tantalizing mix of power, beauty, and forbidden desire, making it one of the most legendary scandals of the 20th century. Monroe's untimely death added a tragic twist, forever shrouding this affair in mystery and intrigue. Number 34, Michelle Fifer and John Malkovich.
You're only 5 minutes late, but I get so frightened. I become convinced I'm...
In the world of dangerous liaisons, seduction and betrayal are the game. But what happens when the game transcends the screen? Enter Michelle Fifer and John Malkovich, whose sizzling chemistry during the filming of this ironic movie led to a real-life affair. Before this film, Malkovich was a respected theater actor, his stage presence commanding and intense. Dangerous Liaisons marked his major leap into film, casting him as the scheming Vicomte de Valmont, a role that would forever define him as the quintessential villain. Behind the scenes, the parallels were striking. As Malkovich's character sought to seduce Fifer's on screen, the real John Malkovich found himself irresistibly drawn to Fifer off-screen. Their affair was passionate but clandestine, simmering beneath the watchful eyes of the crew and cast. The fallout was immediate and devastating. Malkovich's marriage to actress Glenn Headley crumbled under the weight of the betrayal. Headley, heartbroken and betrayed, reportedly branded Malkovich the root of all evil, encapsulating the deep hurt and anger she felt. Number 33, Marlon Brando and Rita Moreno.
I do all the time. I'm doing a one-woman show. I'm working on it, and it's called Life Without Makeup, which I think is a swell title.
When two stars collide, the fallout can be explosive. In 1954, Marlon Brando laid eyes on Rita Moreno, and the chemistry was instant and undeniable. Their connection was electric, and it was clear that this was the start of something epic. But every great love story has its challenges. Brando, known for his magnetic presence and rebellious spirit, was not a man of commitment. Despite their intense and passionate romance, Brando's infidelity cast a dark shadow over their relationship. Throughout their tumultuous 8-year affair, Brando's constant cheating, both physical and emotional, left Moreno devastated. She endured the pain of his numerous affairs, each one a blow to her heart. To make matters worse, Brando married multiple times during their relationship, a cruel reminder of his inability to commit solely to her. For Moreno, the heartbreak was immense. She loved Brando deeply, but his actions shattered her trust and spirit. Number 32, Melanie Griffith and Antonio Banderas.
I think it's a very charming and it's a classic story and wonderful.
When love ignites on a movie set, the fallout can be spectacular. In 1995, Antonio Banderas and Melanie Griffith met on the set of Too Much, and sparks flew instantly. But there was a complication. Both were married to other people. Banderas was married to Anna Lisa, and Griffith was with Don Johnson. Their undeniable chemistry on set soon spilled over into real life, leading to secret rendezvous and passionate encounters. The scandal was inevitable, and both couples eventually filed for divorce. In a whirlwind of romance, Banderas and Griffith tied the knot just a month after their divorces were finalized in 1996. They welcomed their daughter, Stella, later that year, solidifying their status as one of Hollywood's most celebrated couples. For 18 years they seemed unbreakable, a testament to love that defied the odds. However, in 2014, their fairy tale ended as they filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The dissolution of their marriage marked the end of an era, but their love story remains as one of Hollywood's most memorable romances. Number 31, Kris Jenner and Todd Waterman.
Really young and dumb is something that plays into it because you don't really...
What happens when the attention fades? In 1989, Kris Jenner. Kris revealed she cheated on her husband with soccer player Todd Waterman in 1989, after writing about the affair in her 2011 memoir, Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian. She noted that the love affair sparked after she felt like no one else was paying attention to her. That kiss was more than amazing. It was like a revival, a resuscitation, an awakening from some long, deep, unconscious sleep. I hadn't been kissed like that in 10 years, Kris recalled in the book. It made me feel young, attractive, sexy, and alive. Along with these feelings came a wave of nausea. I actually wanted to throw up at the same time, because it dawned on me that I had not felt that way with Robert for years. Number 30, Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz. What happens when close friends become something more? Daniel Craig. It seemed that for the time being, Daniel Craig's relationship with fiancée Satsuki Mitchell was going strong, despite rumors about an affair with Sienna Miller. However, little did Mitchell know that another affair with a different Hollywood actress was about to take place. Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz were said to be close friends before they began their relationship, so perhaps this was just a case of friendship turned into something more. However, the timeline of the beginning of their relationship is quite suspicious, as both Craig and Weisz officially split from their long-term partners and became an item very soon after. Just 6 months after they officially announced their relationship, the two married in a small ceremony, witnessed by just 4 people. They stated that they did this out of respect for their ex-partners. Number 29, Julia Roberts and Danny Mder.
Girlfriend, and I am his wife. And that seems to be working out. How often?
Love at any cost? Julia Roberts and Danny Mder's affair. Julia Roberts has famously said that she thought that she was born to be with her now husband, Danny Mder. Apparently that also meant by any means necessary. Known as America's sweetheart, Roberts was with a few celebrity bachelors before her long-term relationship with actor Benjamin Bratt. In 2001, however, the two parted ways and Bratt moved on. It seemed that Rogers had as well, but this time with a married cameraman, Danny Mder. Tabloid speculation has noted that the two met 2 years before her breakup with Bratt, which suggests that perhaps their affair had been going on for some time. While there was a lot of drama surrounding Mder's divorce, his family's alleged dislike for Roberts, and their quickie marriage, it seems the two were meant to be, as they're married to each other to this day. Number 28, Audrey Hepburn and William Holden. What could tear apart a Hollywood love story? Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn and William Holden met on the set of 1954's Sabrina, and under the director's nose. These two besotted actors embarked on a sordid affair. You see, even before he began working with her, Holden had harbored a schoolboy crush on this graceful young actress. They became quick friends, and it wasn't long before their easy camaraderie evolved into passionate affection. But there was more than one problem barring these two from a happily ever after ending. Well, there was something that Audrey wanted that Holden just couldn't give her. According to rumors, Audrey Hepburn's desire to start a family destroyed all chances of her ever marrying William Holden. He'd gone ahead and had a vasectomy, making their union an impossibility in Audrey's mind. Completely heartbroken by the whole situation, Holden later commented, "I really was in love with Audrey, but she wouldn't marry me." Number 27, Hugh Grant and Elizabeth Hurley. Hollywood's bad boy strikes again. Hugh Grant's scandalous affair. Celebrity affairs don't get much more dramatic than this. In 1995, Grant was arrested in Los Angeles for misdemeanor lewd conduct in a public place with Hollywood prostitute Divine Brown. He was in a relationship with Hurley at the time. The actor pleaded no contest and paid a fine. Some days later, he appeared on The Tonight Show where he said, "I did a bad thing," which saved his career and saw public forgiveness. Although Hurley forgave Grant initially, they later split in 2000. Number 26, James Cameron and Susie Amos.
Home premiere. It's like, boy, that's the ultimate diva move, isn't it?
But you're here tonight.
Kids have fun.
Hollywood's notorious ladies' man does it again, James Cameron. James Cameron has a bit of a reputation in Hollywood for being a ladies' man. The director has been married 5 times and had a handful of long-term relationships outside of those unions. In the early 1990s, Cameron was directing Terminator and began dating the film's leading lady, Linda Hamilton. The two were together for several years, welcomed a daughter in 1993, and, by all accounts, seemed on the road to marriage. But then Cameron began working on Titanic, where he met Susie Amos, the actor who played Rose's granddaughter, Lizzie Calvert. Smitten with the younger woman, Cameron reportedly began seeing her. Hamilton later told the Daily Mail in 2011 that she and Cameron had actually been on a break from the marriage, enabling him to see other people. Despite what you may be thinking, that wasn't the end of it. Cameron eventually broke up with Amos and went back to Hamilton, marrying her in 1997. Then in 1999, the pair divorced, and in 2000, Cameron tied the knot with Amos, to whom he is still married. Number 25, Sienna Miller and Daniel Craig.
This is Tammy. Who's your mate, Sydney?
When revenge turns into romance, Sienna Miller and Daniel Craig. When Sienna Miller was at the height of her career, she was dating fellow actor Jude Law. The two were a great-looking couple who seemed very much in love. Of course, people would later discover that wasn't so, with Jude Law allegedly cheating on Sienna Miller on a number of occasions. Perhaps it was only a matter of time before Miller herself found comfort in the arms of another man, in this case, the new James Bond, Daniel Craig. In 2005, Miller and Craig appeared in tabloid stories, as they'd allegedly had an affair following them starring in a movie together just the year before. Miller was engaged to Law at the time, and Craig was also with then-girlfriend, producer Satsuki Mitchell. Apparently the affair was meant to give Law a taste of his own medicine. Number 24, Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini.
Are you the dentist?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the dentist.
Oh. Well, I was scouting around for
A simple letter ignites a scandalous affair. Ingrid Bergman. The love affair between Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini began with a simple letter. "Dear Mr. Rossellini," she wrote, "I saw your films Open City and Paysan and enjoyed them very much. If you need a Swedish actress who speaks English very well, who has not forgotten her German, who is not very understandable in French, and who in Italian knows only ti amo, I am ready to come and make a film with you." From this came the suggestion to make the film Stromboli together. As they pitched the movie to producers and secured financing, their relationship grew. They then traveled together throughout Italy prior to shooting, much to the dismay of Bergman's husband, Peter Lindstrom. According to the biography, as time goes by, while shooting the film, Rossellini seemed open to creating a scandal, happy to be photographed holding hands with the beautiful actor, and even giving the press inside knowledge of Bergman's broken marriage. Before Stromboli was finished shooting, Bergman was pregnant with Rossellini's child, and the truth of the affair was all over the American airwaves. Number 23, Gary Cooper and Lupe Valdez.
I know it keeps repeating, oh me, oh my, oh you, oh me.
passion, fights, and scandal, Gary Cooper and Lupe Valdez. In 1929, Gary Cooper embarked on one of his most tempestuous affairs. On the set of The Wolf Song, Cooper fell for the alluring Mexican actress Lupe Valdez. However, Valdez's hot-blooded nature often landed them in some outrageous fights. Emotions were running high at all times, and the tabloids just ate up their antics. Gary Cooper was not a man of loyalty and commitment. While entertaining his fiery passion with Valdez, he also struck up some affairs on the side. And the women he chose weren't just anybody. He seduced and ravished some of the greats, including Marlene Dietrich and Carole Lombard. Of course, his hungry libido didn't end there. Number 22, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Hollywood's sweethearts fall apart, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. In 2005, Hollywood's sweethearts, Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt, announced they were to divorce. While they said their separation is not the result of any of the speculation reported by the tabloid media, sources and Time suggested otherwise. In 2004, Pitt spent time filming Mr. and Miss Smith with Angelina Jolie. Speculation swirled Pitt and Jolie were getting cozy on set, which both of them denied. Jolie later confirmed to Vogue in 2007 that she and Pitt had fallen for each other on set. In 2005, a series of paparazzi pictures emerged of the pair holidaying together with Jolie's eldest son in Kenya. In 2022, it was unveiled that Jolie had tipped off the media, as per Rolling Stone. Number 21, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Brigitte Nielsen.
You must destroy the...
Scandalous secrets revealed, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Brigitte Nielsen. Danish actress Brigitte Nielsen revealed she and Schwarzenegger had had an affair while he was married to Maria Shriver, in a memoir published in 2011. Schwarzenegger later admitted to the affair, which prompted the end of his 25-year marriage to the Kennedy family daughter and newswoman. Number 20, Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe.
Told in Style in 2008 that stories painting Quaid as the victim weren't telling the whole story.
America's sweetheart caught in a scandal, Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe. When the tabloids spotted Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe holding hands during the time they were filming Proof of Life together, it created an enormous scandal. Besides the fact that both actors were huge stars at the time, Ryan was still married to Dennis Quaid. Before the film was released, the two stars tried to avoid prying eyes, but the rumor mill forged on. According to the New York Post, they confirmed their relationship in July of 2000. But Ryan insists that her failed marriage to Quaid wasn't because of Crowe or the scandal. It dissolved before it became sport for the press, she said in a W magazine interview. The public and the press tuned in way after, she said. But that didn't stop people from talking. There were questions about Ryan's public image. Would her America's sweetheart shine wear off because of this? Number 19, David Letterman and his staff. A shocking admission on live TV. David Letterman. In 2009, 6 months after marrying longtime girlfriend Regina Lasco, the Late Show host admitted to being involved in a sex scandal. Letterman admitted on the show that he had had sex with women who work for me on the show, he said. He later spoke to Oprah about dealing with the fallout from his celebrity affairs, stating, "I'm still trying to fix it," when speaking about cheating on his wife and mother of his son. Number 18, Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher.
Eddie offered their emotional support. Unfortunately, Eddie's comfort became adultery. Debbie was the last to know.
One of the biggest scandals of the 1950s, Elizabeth Taylor. One of the biggest celebrity scandals of the 1950s was the affair between Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher. Fisher, who was married to Debbie Reynolds at the time, comforted Taylor when her husband Mike Todd died, and later fell for the actress. He divorced Reynolds and married Taylor in 1959. However, just 5 years later, Taylor divorced Fisher for her Cleopatra co-star Richard Burton. They were married in 1964. Number 17, Ryan Phillippe and Abby Cornish.
Ryan Phillippe is part of the ensemble cast of Best Picture nominee Crash. Is she that strong?
When on-screen chemistry leads to heartbreak, Ryan Phillippe. Ryan Phillippe married actress Reese Witherspoon at a young age. The two met at Witherspoon's 21st birthday party, and 2 years later, the two were married. They were young, in love, and seemed like a perfect pairing. After 7 years of marriage and 2 children together, Phillippe and Witherspoon were divorced. Shortly after that, Phillippe and actress Abby Cornish became an official item, and the tabloid frenzy began. Phillippe and Cornish met on the set of the movie Stop Loss, and that's where rumors of the affair began to surface. It wasn't long before news was swirling about Phillippe and Witherspoon's marriage being in trouble, and it was likely more than a rumor, because Witherspoon has gone on to publicly speak about how terrible and humiliating the split was for her. Number 16, Jesse James and Michelle McGee.
This is Michelle Bombshell McGee, and this is my uncensored interview.
Hi, Michelle. You live in San Diego.
I do live in San Diego.
A betrayal that shocked the world, Jesse James. Several years after Sandra Bullock married motorcycle customizer Jesse James, many women claimed to have had affairs with him. Michelle McGee, a dancer, revealed that she had had sex with James on the couch in his office behind Bullock's back. As a result of the rumors, James soon confessed and issued a public apology, asking for forgiveness. Bullock filed for divorce in April 2010 and then adopted a baby boy as a single mother. Number 15, Leanne Rimes and Eddie Cibrian.
And ask if you want to fall. It doesn't matter.
A romance that ignited headlines, Leanne Rimes and Eddie Cibrian. This was an affair that made headlines for quite some time, perhaps because both Leanne Rimes and Eddie Cibrian were married when they began their affair. At the time of their affair, Cibrian had been married to his now ex-wife, Brandi Glanville, for 8 years, and Rimes was married to her husband, Dean Chalamet, for 7 years. The two actors starred in a film together called Northern Lights, and it was there that they ignited their affair. The reason that their affair became so public and was being constantly covered by news channels and tabloids was because neither Rimes nor Cibrian were the least bit secretive about what they were doing and the current state of both their marriages. Both of their exes were also outspoken about what had happened, with Glanville even writing a tell-all book about her life, which, of course, included the affair. Number 14, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor.
Him. 1, 10, anyone? No one? Have they kissed you with Caesar's lips, touched you with his hands? Has it been his name you...
A love story for the ages, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. The casting of Elizabeth Taylor in the titular role of Cleopatra was not without some controversy. According to Entertainment Weekly, she hadn't yet lived down her reputation as a homewrecker from the Eddie Fisher scandal, and some people at the studio were unsure if the risk was worth the price. They moved forward with casting Taylor in the end, but it turns out that their fears were grounded. Even with Fisher on location in Rome, Vogue reported that he was on hand, trying to learn how to become a movie producer, Taylor and her co-star, Richard Burton, started one of the most talked-about affairs of the century while making that film. While taking a break from filming in 1962, Dick and Liz were snapped lounging together on board a yacht. The published photos sent the public and the paparazzi into a frenzy for more. According to Vogue, the Vatican publicly condemned the relationship. The scandal was inescapable. As per EW, members of the press followed them at every turn, even posing as extras to get inside information. By 1963, their relationship was public, and the film was finally released. Early in 1964, mere days after she divorced Fisher, Taylor and Burton were married. Number 13, Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. A forbidden love blooms on set, Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart met Lauren Bacall while filming To Have and Have Not in 1944. He was 44 at the time and married, and she was just 19 years old. Despite their 25-year age gap, a romance began between the two Hollywood celebrities. When their director Howard Hawks, who reportedly also fancied Bacall, caught wind of their relationship, he reportedly tried to put an end to their liaison by telling the actress that Bogart would dump her by the end of filming. Allegedly, he even threatened to destroy her career, bluffing that he would send her to the lowest studios in Hollywood. Despite Hawks's meddling, Bogart and Bacall's relationship continued, and the pair wed in 1945. They went on to have 2 children together, and remained married until Bogart passed away in 1957. Number 12, Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott.
The big thing is, I think when there's children involved, you look at
a TV movie turned real-life scandal, Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott. In 2005, Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott were hard at work on a TV movie called Mind Over Murder. The project was a flop, as evidenced by its incredibly low IMDb rating, but the stars still got something out of it, each other. When they first arrived on set, both actors were married. Tori Spelling was with Charlie Shanian and Dean McDermott with Mary Jo Eustace. But it didn't stay that way for long. Rumors quickly began spreading that the co-stars were having an affair, something they all but confirmed when they tied the knot right after Spelling's divorce was finalized. In an episode of True Tori that aired in 2014, the actor finally admitted what everyone had long suspected to be true. She and McDermott had, in fact, begun seeing each other when they were both in other relationships. Number 11, Kristen Stewart and Rupert Sanders.
And, we'll just keep going. I think she's tenacious and rebellious and very kind of...
Twilight love turns into real-life drama. Kristen Stewart. They may have played vampires with an eternal love, but in real life, it just wasn't so. Actors Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson played lovers in the series of Twilight movies. When they became an item in real life, their fans were thrilled to see that the actors who played their favorite fictional characters had fallen in love off-screen as well. However, in 2012, all of that would change. Photos of Kristen Stewart and director Rupert Sanders getting cozy in public surfaced, and a media firestorm ensued. At the time, Stewart was just 21 years old and Sanders was 40 years old and married. The affair didn't last, but it certainly did a lot of damage. Both Stewart and Sanders' relationships ended, and both have since publicly apologized and expressed regret for their actions. Number 10, Ally McGraw and Steve McQueen.
Movie star, really one of the great film actor movie stars that has ever been, wanted
a Hollywood bad boy's passionate affair, Ally McGraw and Steve McQueen. In 1972, shortly after being cast in The Getaway alongside McQueen, McGraw and the action hero started a relationship that wore out the ink on tabloids across the country. McGraw was a rising star who had recently married producer Robert Evans. McQueen was Hollywood's iconic bad boy. But in spite of McGraw's nuptials, according to a Vanity Fair article, theirs was one of the great love affairs of the past century. It was very, very passionate and dramatic and hurtful and ecstatic, McGraw told the publication. It was pretty much a wipeout for both of us, but I think it's safe to say it would have been impossible not to fall in love with Steve. After the film, McGraw divorced Evans, married McQueen, and left her career to be with him, according to Vanity Fair. It wasn't until after their 1977 divorce that McGraw returned to the big screen with the 1978 film Convoy. Number 9, Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner. Jazz crooner and Hollywood siren collide, Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner. Considered one of the 1940s and 1950s most infamous Hollywood couples, jazz crooner Frank Sinatra began dating actress Ava Gardner while still married to his wife Nancy, with whom he shared 3 children. He eventually left Nancy for Gardner, whom he married in 1951. But that wasn't the end of the drama. Sinatra's celebrity affairs, of which he had many throughout his life, did not end there. The singer was also unfaithful to Gardner in their marriage, and they ultimately divorced in 1957, proving some celebrity affairs aren't forever. Number 8, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward.
Odd characters.
Don't you ever ask?
Well, the only question I ever ask any woman is what time is your husband coming?
Hollywood's golden couple reveals all, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. While some celebrities exhibit a degree of reticence when it comes to their affairs, not speaking openly about their intimate details of their entanglements or discussing why they chose their new partner over their old one. Others share all the nitty-gritty. Paul Newman is a perfect example of the latter. Newman married first wife Jackie Witt in 1949, and he seemed, by all accounts, to be happy. Then Newman landed an understudy spot in the Broadway production of Picnic, where he met a fellow understudy named Joanne Woodward, and his marriage began to suffer. Newman and Woodward soon began having an affair, which ultimately resulted in Newman divorcing Witt to marry his new lover. If they had just left things at that and retreated into quiet married life, a scandal might not have been so bad. But Hollywood's golden couple instead elected to share all of the intimate details of their romance with the world. Number 7. Claire Danes and Billy Crudup.
After Billy.
Number 7. Claire Danes and Billy Crudup. A shocking betrayal unfolds. Claire Danes and Billy Crudup. No one was impressed with Claire Danes or Billy Crudup over their affair, because the circumstances by which their relationship began were so unimaginable and just plain icky. After nearly 7 years together, he left his then-girlfriend, actress Mary Louise Parker, who was 7 months pregnant with their child at the time, for Danes. Talk about adding insult to injury. Danes and Crudup met on the set of a movie called Stage Beauty in 2003, which is also when he abruptly broke things off with Parker. Despite their whirlwind romance causing such a stir in the entertainment industry, he and Danes would stay together for 3 years before splitting up in 2006. It's interesting to think that he threw away a whole life he'd built with another person for just 3 seemingly fleeting years with someone else. Number 6. Marilyn Monroe and Bobby Kennedy.
Girl.
Well, gee whiz, I didn't say she wasn't, did I?
Never mind the stalling. You do what I...
An open secret in Hollywood, Marilyn Monroe and Bobby Kennedy. Her romance with Robert F. Kennedy is much more of an open secret. At the time, both the Gentlemen Prefer Blondes actor and the Attorney General of the United States didn't seem to acknowledge the dalliance. RFK, of course, would have been looking out for the Kennedy legacy and trying to protect his marriage to Ethel Skakel Kennedy, which began in 1950. Monroe, meanwhile, likely would have wanted to avoid any press potentially damaging her reputation. Those in the inner circles, however, reportedly knew all about the affair. While it's unclear if or when exactly the romance began or how the pair first met, it's believed it only ended with Monroe's passing in 1962. Number 5. Woody Allen and Soon-Yi Previn.
What do you think of interior?
I would rather not say. I was very young.
A forbidden love that shocked the world. Woody Allen and Soon-Yi Previn. Woody Allen's relationship with stepdaughter-turned-wife Soon-Yi Previn. There aren't many people who don't know about this affair, but still, let's delve into it, shall we? Previn was actress Mia Farrow's adopted daughter, and while Farrow was in a relationship with Allen, he struck up a relationship with his stepdaughter as well. Though the two married in 1997 and have been together for decades, the startling age difference of 35 years, which meant that Previn was in her teens when the affair began, still makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Their affair was also discovered by Farrow when she found pornographic photos of Previn in Allen's possession. How horrifying must it have been for Farrow to discover that her partner was not only having an affair, but having an affair with her own daughter? Number 4, Sophia Loren and Cary Grant.
Well then, I'd say you've been grateful long enough.
I'm staying with him.
You mean you're living with him?
A Hollywood heartthrob's scandalous move. Sophia Loren and Cary Grant. Hollywood heartthrob Grant first shared the silver screen with the Italian siren in 1958's Houseboat. Cary Grant's wife at the time, actress Betsy Drake, wrote the original script for Houseboat, in which she was cast alongside her husband in the film. As the story goes, after Grant, who was 54 at the time, and Loren, 23, commenced their affair, Grant had a new script commissioned to cut his wife out of the role and replaced her with Loren. Drake never received credit for writing the movie, and Loren eventually left Grant to marry Carlo Ponti. In 2014, the Italian actress admitted to the affair, which she insists was unconsummated. Number 3, Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton.
So I see your personal life has gone to hell. How much fun are you guys having?
I'm just happy.
A sudden, shocking marriage. Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. Angelina Jolie met ex-husband Billy Bob Thornton on the set of the 1999 movie Pushing Tin, and the pair married later that year. The small issue was that Thornton was already living with and engaged to actress Laura Dern. I left our home to work on a movie, and while I was away, my boyfriend got married, and I've never heard from him again, Laura told Talk magazine in 2000. It's like a sudden death. For no one has there been any closure or clarity. Angie and Billy, as they're known, got divorced after 2 years of marriage in 2002. Number 2, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy.
Hope we haven't ruined your day.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. After all, it kept me off the streets and out of the pool rooms.
Hollywood's greatest love story unfolds. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. One of Hollywood's greatest love stories is that of Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. It's also one of the most scandalous affairs in show business. Hepburn and Tracy first met in the early 1940s when they co-starred in Woman of the Year. Tracy was almost 20 years into his marriage with fellow actor Louise Tracy at that point and was not inclined, most likely due to his Catholic faith, to file for divorce. As a result, his romance with the younger Hepburn was carried on almost entirely in secret. Per Variety, Hepburn and Tracy would remain together until Tracy's death in 1967, and it wasn't until the 1980s that Hepburn spoke about the affair. Number 1, Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross.
And you just can't get rid of her. What I didn't realize was that early sweet...
Motown's most surprising affair, Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross. The Motown singers who grew up in the same neighborhood were later tangled in an affair during Robinson's marriage to his first wife, Claudette Rogers. Ultimately, the two called off their romance due to their mutual love for Rogers. After we'd been seeing each other for a while, Diana said to me she couldn't do that because she knew Claudette, and she knew I still loved my wife, Robinson said. Robinson, who had another tirist during his marriage that resulted in the birth of his third son, Trey, told the outlet, "And I did. I love my wife very much." Thanks for joining us on this scandalous journey through Hollywood's most infamous affairs. If you love this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Don't forget to check out our other videos for more juicy stories and Hollywood drama. See you next time.